Bohemia's had something to do with industrial civilization. The idea of bohemias came in when we first had industrial civilization, and it remained this constant and intriguing area of human activity for a long time. But I think we may be past it now. I think bohemias were the dream time of industrial civilization. They were a safe way to let the unconscious experiment. And we demonstrated that we recognized this fairly early on with the commodification of the products of bohemias, which when I was a kid was a relatively slow process. It took 2 or 3 years for whatever was happening in the 60s to be commodified as the 60s experience. But it took only about a year for punk to be commodified in the same way. And that bohemia that Kurt Cobain came out of in Washington State was commodified almost before it was born. It was like the equivalent of veal. We turn them into product so quickly now that they don't have time to really grow. And one of the things that historically seemed to be required for the advent of a new bohemia is some sort of backwater in which the thing can evolve on its own and evolve its own rituals and its own style. And we don't have that anymore because we don't really have backwaters in the same way. You can't be plugged in and in a backwater simultaneously. You can't be doing the equivalent of watching television in Hibbing, Minnesota in the early 60s. So you can't be Dylan in quite the same way.